Okay, this video is on translations, which is a type of transformation. Now, a transformation is just a way of moving or changing an object. A way of moving or changing an object. And there are four types of transformations that we're going to be looking at. The first type is called a translation, which we're going to be looking at in this video. Second type is called a reflection. The third type is called a rotation. And the fourth type is called a dilation. Now, this first type of transformation, called the translation, is just sliding an object without turning it. So, for example, if I had this piece of paper here, kind of makes this four-sided object, and if I had this object here and I were to slide it, say, to the right, and then down, and then maybe to the left, and then up, and to the left again, all these slides here that I'm doing, these are all translations, because notice I'm not turning the object in any way. It keeps its same orientation. I'm just sliding it around on my board. All right, that's a translation. Now, let's take a look at an actual translation that we're going to do on a set of XY axes. In your notes, it says, given triangle ABC with the given coordinates, translate triangle ABC left 4 units and up 1 unit. Okay, so I see I've got my triangle here, my vertices A, B, and C, and let's go ahead and label those vertices. A is -1, 1. B is 2, 4. And C is 4, 1. And it says translate this triangle to the left 4 units and up 1 unit. Well, in order to do that, all I need to do is take each one of my vertices and move it left 4 and up 1. So let's start with vertex A here. If I move to the left 4 units, let's see, if I start here, then I'm going to go to the left 4. That's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. There's to the left 4 units. And then I go up 1 unit. That's going to move it to this point right here. I'm going to call this point A prime. A is what I started with, and A prime is what I ended with. So A prime then would have the coordinates, let's see, 3, 4, 5, -5 and +2. So there's my new coordinate. My A coordinate moves here to the A prime coordinate. We do the same thing for coordinate B. I want to move that to the left 4 and up 1. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Move that to the left 4 would put it right here, and up 1 would put it right here. So let's call this point B prime. And B prime is going to have coordinates -2 and 2, 3, 4, 5. -2 and +5. All right. Next coordinate here is C. And if I move it to the left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's going to put it here. And up 1 will put it right here. So my new C prime point is going to have coordinates, let's see, 0, 2. So now I've moved all of my vertices. I've translated all of my vertices. Now, if I just connect up these 3 vertices, well, now I have my new translated triangle, A prime, B prime, C prime. That's all a translation is. Now, one thing, a particular kind of terminology that we use in transformations, the image that we start with this is called the pre-image. And the image that so this one is the pre-image. And the image that we end up with is just called the image. So often you hear the two images referred to that way. That's just kind of a standard terminology. Now, one other way that we talk about doing transformations is in this thing that we call the algebraic rule. Or sometimes the arrow rule. And this is just a way of describing a transformation using algebraic symbols. And typically this is done by describing what the two coordinates, the x and the y coordinates of any point on the pre-image, what would we have to do to these points, what would we have to do to any set of points on the pre-image in order to change it into the image? Well, for this particular translation, I noticed that for all of my x-coordinates, in order to translate all of my x-coordinates, I'm moving all of my x-coordinates, they're going, since I'm moving my image to my pre-image, since I'm moving it to the left by 4, then essentially what I'm doing is taking all of my x-coordinates and I'm subtracting 4 from them. So that would be what this part of my algebraic rule would look like. I'd be subtracting 4 from my original x-coordinates, and I can see that that's what's happening here. My original x-coordinate here was -1, and when I translated it, it became -5. -1 subtract 4 gives me -5. Same thing for b. I started out with 2, I subtract 4, that gives me -2. So each one of my x-coordinates, I'm subtracting 4. To get my transformed y-coordinates, then I'm going to take each one of my given y-coordinates, each one of the y-coordinates for my pre-image, and I'm going to add 1 to each one of those because I'm taking my pre-image and I'm moving it up by 1. Well, in order to move all of those y-coordinates up 1, then I'm going to take my original y-coordinates and I'm going to add 1. So these, in the algebraic rule, this set of coordinates here, these x, y coordinates here, these represent the pre-image, and these represent the image, that is the translated image that we move to the left 4 and up 1.